Welcome into Action Island, presented by FanDuel, alongside Tim Kalinowski, prop bet guy, Brian Matthews. I'm Meghan Payton. We're here, week 5, and we have a great Sunday night football game. This is Cowboys at Niners. All the hype, all the fun. Action Island is your place to be for all things parlays. At the end of this, you'll have a 3-leg same-game parlay that you can tail on FanDuel. Action Island is presented by FanDuel. Get $5 or get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you bet $5. This is for new users in Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, and Wyoming. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. The Niners eliminated the Cowboys from the playoffs the last 2 seasons. The hype all week has been, how's Dak Prescott going to look in this game? He threw 2 picks the last time they played. He threw a pick before. Can the Cowboys come up in big moments? Here's the fun thing. We don't have to just bet on the side. We can bet on different props and different totals just to make our same game parlay. Tim, where are you looking for the first leg of Cowboys Niners?
Well, Megan, little confession. Back in high school, I used to copy homework here and there, and it kind of be a time crunch, right? Let's all, gather around and copy from the smartest kid as we're in the cafeteria waiting for the bell to ring. So, part of that hasn't really worn off of me in my adult years. And so I was kind of torn for my first prop. So I went to the Action app and I found that our very own prop bet guy, he was on Ferguson's longest reception under 15.5 yards. And I went, well, I can't play that. How can I get at that? So, this is what you do. You just copy the work a little bit and then you call it your own. So I landed on Michael Gallup over 2.5 receptions. If we're looking to fade Ferguson, that means the ball has to go to other guys. And what a better person than Gallup. His last 2 games, 5 catches off of 6 targets. Game before that, 6 catches coming off of 7 targets. I only need 3 to hit here. That's my first pick.
Hey, any way to find a way to kind of work the system? And we know prop bet guy's going to like this since it's essentially his pick. Michael Gallup has had 11 receptions over 150 yards the last 2 weeks. Are we starting to finally see some consistency post-injury for Gallup? I know it's only 2 weeks, but it feels like we're starting to get some momentum. Tim, where are you looking for the second option?
Yeah. Oh boy. Christian McCaffrey. You ever heard of that guy? Yeah. McCaffrey anytime touchdown -175. Listen, how can you have a same game parlay for Sunday Night Football and not have Christian McCaffrey in the mix? Laugh all you want, but his number this year has been at times -250. He's on a heater. 13 consecutive games with a touchdown. That's a 49ers record. The NFL record is held by John Riggins and O.J. Simpson at 15. Does McCaffrey get there? Do we all look like idiots on Sunday night?
Hey, I'm just going to out you, Tim. Now we know why Tim was yelling at the producer saying, I want to go first this week. I want to go first. I got a great bet for you. And he just wanted to be the one to say Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown. Hot take from Tim in week 5, CMC to get 14 straight touchdowns. He's crushing it. 4 touchdowns for Christian McCaffrey last week. He's even got Micah Parsons on camera saying, hey, he's one of the most versatile running backs in the league who can play receiver or play running back as a receiver, vice versa. Prop bet guy, Brian Matthews, the choice is yours, CMC or Michael Gallup over his receptions. I wonder what we're going to pick. Show your cards. Look at that. And we all did CMC. That wasn't even planned. No one wanted to write out Christian McCaffrey. Hey, prop bet guy. Tim just took your pick on Jake Ferguson, essentially faded it, and then went Michael Gallup. So I feel like we're betting against your option. Or is it just because Christian McCaffrey's so great?
Yeah, you can't go against CMC to score a touchdown. It feels like a really safe leg. I mean, like we've said, he's done it in 13 straight games. Yes, this is a tough matchup, but we had to get McCaffrey in this parlay somehow. Yeah. So I'm glad we're leading off with him.
Hey, and this is the fun thing. If you're going to bet Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown, you really do want to put it in a parlay. Also, the last couple weeks, it's been like in the minus 200s for Christian McCaffrey to get it. We're at least getting it at a bit of a better price at like minus 175. Throw that into a parlay. Feels better. Brian, hot takes on CMC?
Oh, yeah, man. I can tell that Tim was deep in the lab for this one.
Yeah.
A lot of lab time went into CMC. So I'm glad we're all on the same page, though. Look, you can't fade him. NFL history is a few games away. I like that angle. So I like CMC to get in.
Oh, you guys are so sharp. No one shot it down. You still voted it. Yeah.
Tim, we're just saying, like, we want you to be a little bit more original. The first bet was prop bet, guys. The second one's the most bet on bet probably in the NFL. It's okay. We're not going to get mad at you because you're going to help us win this parlay. Prop bet guy, do we have maybe just a little bit more of an original bet for our second leg?
No, we don't. Actually, because back when I was in high school, I too used to cheat off the smartest guy. So for my option one, I am also going with Michael Gallup. I did tweak it a little bit. I'm going over 33.5 receiving yards. I'm actually playing this straight for a unit. I really do like it. Like Tim mentioned, this is a tough matchup for Ferguson. It's also a tough matchup on the receiving end for Pollard. Cooks and Dak haven't really gelled yet. Like we've seen in Ceedee Lamb, obviously he will get his, but there needs to be a second person in this pass game. And I do think it's Gallup. He's coming off a 60-yard game and a 90-yard game in his last two, grabbing 11 of the 13 targets that he got. He's historically been much better against zone. The 49ers predominantly are a zone heavy team. They'll obviously be focusing on Ceedee Lamb. I do think we'll see some one-on-one with Gallup. Hopefully, we get a deep shot there. And the 49ers, they have allowed 8 different receivers to clear this in 4 games. And that includes one game against the defunct Giants offense where no receivers got it. So really it's 8 receivers in 3 different games. And like I said, very tough against Ferguson, very tough against Pollard. CD, he'll get his, but I really do like Gallup here, over 33.5 receiving yards.
We're stealing everyone's bets today. It's okay because we're all at action. You can track all our bets and that's how it goes. Look, Gallup over 33.5. I like this because he's starting to look more physical the last 2 weeks. I hope that it's not just a one-off. It feels like he's getting that momentum. 60 yards last week, 92 the week prior. And if the Cowboys are going to win, it's going to be beating the Niners secondary. That's where the weak spot is. And they're going to try to utilize that this week up against a very tough Niners offense and defense. Where can we look at for a second option prop bet guy?
Yeah. So for option 2, I'm actually going to go away from the players and go to my first half team total of over 12.5 points for the 49ers. So far through 4 games, they have 17 plus points in each of the first 4. Yes, this is by far the toughest defense they'll be facing. But obviously, this is also the toughest offense that the Dallas Cowboys have been facing. So in a strength-on-strength type matchup, I usually tend to go with both the home team and the offense, which suits both here. So I do like the Niners to get at least 2 touchdowns in the first half. No Trayvon Diggs, of course, for Dallas, who's out for the season. I do think that's going to put a lot of onus on Gilmore in the secondary, and the 49ers just have way too many weapons between Ayuk, Deebo, McCaffrey, obviously, and George Kittle, who hasn't really gotten going much this year as well. It's going to be tough for Dallas to kind of hone in on all those weapons. And I do think the 49ers can somewhat neutralize Michael Parsons on the pass rush. And lastly, Purdy, he's over this line in 9 of his 10 career regular season starts. I like him to go 10 for 11 in this one.
You just can't bet against the Niners offense. No. They're top 5 first half points. They had 21 last week. And this is a team that comes out strong. When you've got Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, you expect points and you expect them early on. Brian, Tim, you got 2 options. One was already essentially yours, Tim, and the other we'll look at 49ers over first half. Let's get to voting. Three, 2, 1. Where are we looking for the second leg? Oh, is Tim upset? Tim, did we make you upset because prop bet guy stole your bet after you stole his?
No, I'm really torn. I think both bets are really good. I think I'm going to play them on my own regardless. I don't like being in the situation. You all made fun of me for McCaffrey, so you guys all know more than me. So, you pick.
Tim is Switzerland. That's what he's saying. He's saying, I don't want to take responsibility for this parlay. So maybe I'll make it a 4-leg parlay or just make it 2 legs. So here we've got 2 options. We've got 49ers over their first half total. We also have Gallup over his receiving yards. I'm just going to call it, even though I voted on 49ers first half, based on the conversation I've heard by you prop bet guy and by Tim over, is that Gallup's chance in this game seems pretty strong. And I also feel like we've got to give some love to the Cowboys here. So why not? The odds are better anyway, and it makes our parlay better. Michael Gallup over his receiving yards, fading my own bet, and we're going that way. Let's look ahead to our third leg. Brian, where are we going?
All right, we've talked about him a little bit, but the first guy I'm going with is Brandon Ayuk. So I look at this matchup, it sets up perfectly for Brandon Ayuk. He's going to face a lot of man coverage, and when teams run man coverage against the Niners, Brandon Ayuk has a 30% first read share. So look, Brock Purdy's going to look his way. Not only that, results on the field. Like, watch the guy play football. I mean, I remember him back at Arizona State. He was very good. Like, he has just done nothing but get better. I love this spot for him. You know, I know it's a tough matchup. I mean, any offensive player in this game has a tough matchup, but you just look at the rapport he shows with Purdy, and Purdy finds a way to throw him open. I just think Ayuk finds the end zone in this game. So that's going to be the first option.
I love this. I'm all over Ayuk in this one. He like low-key had a career high in yards last week, yet it gets overshadowed all the time because of Christian McCaffrey. And honestly, I'd say Ayuk would have gotten it into the end zone last week if it wasn't going up against a Cardinals team that they really didn't have to do anything crazy against. Ayuk to get in the end zone at a price that probably won't stay at this for long, because people are going to start catching on to Ayuk and what he's able to do for this Niners offense. And I've been saying this, he actually right now for me is coming up as this like number 2 most important player for San Francisco's offense. Nothing against Deebo Samuel, but that consistency starting to get there for Ayuk. Brian, what's a second option in case we want to fade Ayuk?
All right, look, so I love the pick on Gallup because receivers have done well against the 49ers. You look at Michael Wilson and Marquise Brown last week, both easily cleared their receiving totals. So I really like that. I think a guy that's going to get a ton of volume that hasn't gotten the volume that we were accustomed to seeing him getting last year is Ceedee Lamb. So I think this is just one of those games where it's going to be tougher sledding for Tony Pollard, you know, to find room on the ground game. So I think, you know, in turn, we might see, you know, a heavier workload. You know, if you look back to the playoff game last year, I think Ceedee had 10 or 11 catches for over 100 yards, didn't score a touchdown in that game. But I just think both him and Ayuk, it sets up perfectly. If you look at it, you know, Ceedee's the opposite. You know, when he plays against zone, you know, he's featured heavily. And so that's the matchup he's facing. So I've got Ayuk as a first option, and then we're going to go Ceedee Lamb with the second option. Anytime touchdown.
Ceedee Lamb is most targeted player for the Cowboys. I think he'll even be targeted more this week because Jake Ferguson's number 2. Niners are good against tight ends, so we should see Ceedee Lamb's targets go up. And here's the thing. If the Cowboys are going to stay in this game, it's going to be through the air, as we've mentioned, through the coverage, just because that's the Niners' weakest point. And I see it being more in chunk plays where Ceedee Lamb can really score from anywhere on the field. Ceedee Lamb, anytime touchdown. Brandon Ayuk, anytime touchdown. Prop bet guy, Tim, let's get to voting. Tim, you must vote this time.
Fine.
No more cheating for Tim. 3, 2, 1. The third leg is.
Hey.
I knew we couldn't get through this without. Okay, what is happening, Tim?
It's a CD and a Lamb.
It's the CD cover.
Yeah,
Tim, that's pretty good. Okay, the creativity is really coming together. Tim, obviously, take it away. Why are you going with Ceedee Lamb? I guess Ayuk what would have you drawn for Ayuk?
Yeah, kids, that's a compact disc. I don't know what I would draw for Ayuk. That's probably why I didn't go with him, but I really didn't go with Ayuk because honestly, you guys just talked about how great he's been. I'm one of those people that if I have an assumption, it takes a lot for me to, you know, turn the other way on that. And I've been a Deebo Samuel fantasy owner for the last couple of years, and I just love the guy. So I like to convince myself that he is going to overshadow Ayuk, even though it hasn't really happened. And then on the other side of things, I think Lamb has an opportunity because if the Cowboys are in the red zone, I think those windows get super small. I don't see Pollard, you know, trucking someone over. I don't really love Dak, you know, running with his legs in a, you know, tight 25 guys in the box situation, I think I can see Ceedee Lamb running open in the end zone and catching a ball.
To be honest, I love the Ceedee Lamb anytime touchdown as well. I just choose Ayuk over Ceedee because Ayuk's I mean, I know you're a Deebo guy, Tim, but Deebo's dealing with that knee injury. He's not 100%. And I see that affecting them. And as much as this game is a big game for the Cowboys, it's not as big of a game for the Niners. I hate to say that. They're just the better team. And why risk hurting one of your star offensive players in Deebo Samuel? And you've got plenty of other people on this offense to use. I'm going Ayuk. I like Ceedee as well. Prop bet guy, why did you choose Ayuk?
Yeah, B-Met hit it on the head. It's the man coverage for me. The Cowboys, they do run a lot of man. Ayuk has dominated man coverage since he's been in the league. He's obviously playing his best football in the NFL with Purdy right now. Deebo banged up, like we said. McCaffrey, he'll still get his, but Ayuk, you just when you look at the Cowboys defense, they're going to run man, and they can't really add any extra coverage on Ayuk because of all the other weapons that the Niners have. So I think Purdy's going to continually look Ayuk's way, and I think he's going to get one. And I honestly think it's going to be a longer touchdown, like a 30+ yard grab for him.
I like where we're headed. I'm looking at this same game parlay right now. It feels very correlated. It feels like it's going to make for a really fun Sunday night game. So let's discuss. Christian McCaffrey, anytime touchdown. That's our first leg. Number 2, Michael Gallup over 3.5 receptions. Number 3, Brandon Ayuk, anytime touchdown. You add this together on FanDuel Sportsbook, we're at plus 817. And you know what I got to do? I got to throw in a bonus bet for you. Bonus bet, Ayuk, I'm all over him this week. Let's go 60+ yards for Ayuk. That'll make us at plus 1150 for our same game parlay. That is 4 legs. Tim, prop bet guy, Brian, I feel really good about this one. Let's go win some money on our parlay this Sunday night. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll catch you here next time on Action Island.